Welcome to the unique Doctor Who podcast that is the Adric cast. Catch that doggo. Today we will be reviewing Sutek's Dog Shite of Dread. I am your co-host Janey.
I am Gregor.
Very nice. How are you, Gregor?
I'm okay.
Oh yeah,
I've
I feel that.
been we've been talking about the weather, haven't we? Really,
We have, yeah.
like normal human beings.
Yeah.
Um, we found out that it is 4 degrees warmer in England than it is in
Yeah.
Scotland, which is really
I'm
interesting.
feeling it.
Uh, and also, I've forgotten. Oh my god! Yeah, I didn't think about what I was going to say. They're gonna do the intro. I've got a big plan for the intro. I'm like, I'll let Janey do that. Oh no, I have to talk as well.
Yeah, sorry
So
about
this
that.
week we are talking about the Empire of Death, or as Janey has really affectionately called it, Sutek's dog
Sutek's Dog
shit.
Shite of Death,
Dog
yeah.
shite, sorry, I
Dog
shouldn't have
Shite, yeah.
written
So, well, get it right. Come on.
that.
Spent ages writing that.
I bring Sutek's gift of dog shite to
Yeah.
all humanity.
Very good.
Thank you.
Very good.
I do have a question for you though.
Oh, God. Well,
Uh,
I've got some quick fire questions for you, actually. So great minds.
Great minds do think alike. It's a shame that our questions will probably be completely different.
All probably completely the same.
My one's just in between the two parts of this story. Did you watch Pyramids of Mars?
No, I didn't because I'd already watched it before The Legend of Ruby Sunday. Thank you.
Oh,
Oh no, I did watch it. I watched it as the new Tales of the TARDIS.
yeah.
Wasn't something to write home about, apart from the effects.
The effects. I didn't notice a lot of changes with the effects apart from like the time tunnel getting.
Yeah, I think that was the only one I noticed.
I
But it was very
They
good.
replaced the one shot of the TARDIS with like a shot from Shada.
Oh,
Um,
right.
so they replaced the model one, but they kept the other like shots of it in from the
Ah,
original. So they had this
nice.
really nice shot of the police box prop spinning that they filmed in 26, whenever it was whenever they made that Shada
Mm.
film. And then in all the other ones, it's got the fucking little thing on the piece of string wibbling about.
The
Um,
fucking little thing on the piece of
it's one of
string.
those things. I put Pyramids of Mars on the proper telly in the living room for all to see.
Right.
And I was like, "Well, the effects will be better so no one can take the piss."
Mm.
But they
Yeah.
left those TARDIS shots in, so when my brother comes in, he
Yes,
sees
but it's
these
nice. Come on, it is nice to have those in. Be honest.
well,
Go on, be honest.
yeah, I just don't like
I
the
love looking for the little
some of them are
string. I love
some
it.
of them
Where's
are
the string? Where is it this time? Oh, there it is. Love it.
spot the string.
I love the
Something they did
string.
that was criminal, though,
Oh,
absolutely criminal,
oh I know what you're going to say.
they removed the bum hand of Su
How dare they?
How dare
How?
they?
And they removed his little cushion. That must have been a very, very uncomfortable eternity that he was sat there for.
But no cushion or
No cushion,
hand
no
his
hand.
hand, his arse, yeah,
He was
it's
very lonely in that tomb.
very lonely. That's why he was crouched over the TARDIS in the story, because he was stuck in that he was feeling a bit sore.
Oh, my back's gone. My back's gone. Oh, very good, very good. No, I liked it. I did
But he
like
has
it.
to like, that's good. I
I did like
I
it.
I liked it. Pyramids of Mars has always been one which I've been like, it's not the
Mm,
best Doctor Who ever, but it's a pretty good story, and
yeah,
it's fun to watch every once in a while. Tom
it
and
is
Liz are
fun
always
to
great.
watch, which is why it's such a shame that that legacy has now been completely. I think I would say completely destroyed by Russell T Davies. Um,
We're gonna jump straight into that.
well, Do you have
yeah.
anything else that you want to talk about
Well,
before
it's
we get into
probably in
it?
some news
Oh,
somewhere,
yeah.
but it's slipped my mind really.
Oh.
We have got the ratings actually. I did some.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
great.
so the overnight ratings for not Pyramids of Mars, yeah, for Empire of Death,
If only.
2.12 million.
Mhm. Is
Which,
that good? Is that
considering
bad?
considering a chunk of fans went to watch it in the cinema,
Mm.
it beat the Legend of Ruby Sunday, and I think it beat Rogue.
Yeah, well, that was when we all thought it was gonna be good. So
Uh, it was nice to watch in the cinema.
Was
Uh,
it? Was it? You went to the cinema, I didn't.
I did.
What was that
My
like?
It was fairly busy. It wasn't like super duper busy,
Mm.
but Aberdeen, you don't tend to expect a ton of people to turn out at midnight for Doctor Who.
No.
But a fair amount of people did. Throughout the day, because I was there for like the whole day, and
Mhm.
walked about. There was one guy who walked past. This was about 3 o'clock in the afternoon or something, so ages away, and I just saw him, and I just thought he's going to be in the Doctor. He's going to be watching Doctor Who in the cinema tonight. He wasn't wearing anything specifically Doctor Who-y.
Oh.
He
You could
just
just
looked.
sense it.
You could sense it, and I was bang on right as well, which is
Oh god.
he
Got
just seemed
power.
straight like you, or whatever. I can
Oh,
smell.
nice.
There was a lot of folks,
Yeah. What
and
was the
the
general
overall
reaction
yeah,
in the cinema?
a lot of people whispered to each other. Uh,
What? This is shit. This is really shit. Shall we go
uh,
early?
definitely no one left early.
Oh,
They were probably hoping
I
there'd be
would
like
have
a
done.
preview at the end or something. Uh,
Yeah.
they, I don't think it was. Uh, it wasn't like, oh my god, this is incredible. It wasn't like Day of the Doctor where everyone
No.
just gave it a standing ovation, which is
Mm.
what happened when I saw it in the cinema. Uh, but I didn't. There wasn't like a riot.
No.
Um, there wasn't at that time. I think there's probably been a riot since then.
Mm.
Unfortunately, Russell T Davies has had to hire a division of bodyguards to
Yeah,
keep him
well,
at all
I'm not
times.
surprised.
Just, he knows to avoid Windsor. He knows that there's danger
Well, I think he should.
for him.
I think he should be ashamed of himself.
Right, we'll just get into it because you've done a lot of barking. You haven't done a lot of biting, Janey.
Well, not yet. I'm saving it. I am saving it. Believe
Save the
me.
bites.
Get
Well,
ready.
we'll give you a chance to bite. And we'll get into this
Straight into it.
particular episode before we give it its final rating,
Mm.
alongside The Legend of Ruby Sunday at the end.
Yeah, great.
So we start off with
Right.
the shortest preview, not preview, sorry, shortest.
Well, before we get into it, I would like to ask you my quickfire question.
Oh yeah, quick fire questions. God, how rude of me! I forgot
If you,
about that.
um,
I'm
well,
always up for a quick fire question.
there's only a few of them, but I would be really interested to hear your thoughts and hear if you've had any experiences that sort of
Well,
align with these questions.
my thoughts and experiences are a great precious resource to humanity.
Well,
So fire away.
not for long. Um, my first question is, people say you can see things at 73 yards. Have you ever seen anything at 73 yards?
Uh, mm, I have seen things at 73 yards before.
Have you? I just want to get a gauge of like your eye health. So
I
you've
have.
seen, okay, well that's good then. You've seen things. My second question is, Gregor, have you got any metal?
I do. Would you like some Metallica or some Black Sabbath? Foo Fighters.
Very good. I only want a spoon. My third question is, have you ever been named after a road? And if so, what was the name of the road?
Um, that's a really good question, Janie.
Thank you. Thanks.
Uh, Yes, so Cockwine Road near Birmingham.
Very good, very good. Oh God.
On the subject of metal, actually, are
Oh
you
God.
in any way familiar with My Chemical Romance, the really gothy metal band?
I know they. That's all.
They do exist. That's a good bit of knowledge. The lead singer of that is called Gerard Way, and my friends are obsessed with My Chemical Romance, and there is a road in Birmingham called Gerard's Way. And they
Oh,
really
very good.
feel I wonder if he was named after.
Maybe. Oh wait, he must have been. Is he Scottish? Wait, where is it? Is it in Scotland?
No, it's in Birmingham.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't. I was listening, but I ignored
Well,
that bit. Sorry.
it's Birmingham. It's understandable.
Sorry, everyone who lives in Birmingham.
Yeah, to be honest. Well, I mean, we're going to tackle it later on. But the
Oh.
road thing. Uh, it's not necessarily odd that she was named after a road. It's how she was named.
Yeah, sorry. No, I've got to stop you there.
You think that in
I
a
always
hospital
thought
when they do.
I always thought I was named by the social workers or like the paramedics who saw me there. But actually, it was my mum. She just like pointed at it and like she would never know that I knew that she'd pointed at it, but like she actually did, and we saw it on this
No one
VHS.
pointed
So,
it.
well,
No one
sorry,
pointed it. So it doesn't make sense. And
sorry, it doesn't make sense at all. And also, she didn't point at it. The memory changed, and then all of a sudden she was pointing.
yeah.
She didn't originally. So
Mm.
sorry, what is
This is where
happening?
this is where we might end up getting into a very heavy uh round of bashing.
Yeah, I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it.
Uh, all of this doesn't come until later on the episode, so it feels wrong
No,
to talk about it
you've
now.
got all that to look
You've
forward
gotta
to.
you got all that to look forward to. I want to start at the start with the shortest recap clip.
Very, very short.
It's like the doctor's about to die. Let's go. Diddle-dum,
Yeah.
diddle-dum. Better than what you feel, because he used to remember when like series one and stuff, he would do like the resolution to the cliffhanger before the titles, and it would always feel a bit off. Like
Yes.
they get out of the deadly situation, and Chris Eccleston would be like, "Oh, that was a close one," and then the
Yeah.
title
But
start.
if they were going to do that, if they weren't going to do that, even, you
Mm.
could have had this is what happened rather than literally just 2 seconds. Like, you could have had, well, they went to Unit Tower and then they discovered something in the time
Janey,
window. And then,
Janey. They had 50 minutes to tell their story. They could not spare any of that
well,
before the could they?
that's very, very
Okay,
true.
okay, yeah, how things went down.
And why ruin the episode with actual good stuff as well? So let's just get straight into the mess. I totally agree. I totally agree.
So, well, if we're gonna get into the mess,
It's
we'll start with
unavoidable.
a nice set piece to begin with, actually,
Oh,
because we have the Mel and the Vespa driving Shooty around, which we saw them filming
yes.
ages ago.
Ages.
They something that's cool to like remember now is how when people saw them filming, they were talking about the Daleks on set. And when the extras were instructed to go and run away, it was like, "Here come the Daleks." Uh,
Oh,
but that was the code
interesting.
name that they
That would have
used
been a better
for
episode.
which they used the code name for the Daleks. We'll bring up the Daleks later on, actually. But that was I enjoyed that particular set piece. That's what they used
Yeah.
in the preview for this episode. Something that someone pointed out online when they're having that like little chat on the
Mm.
Vespa and smells like there's nothing we can do but fight. The way that she says it, it's like she's saying there's nothing we can do, we're fucked. Like it's such
Brilliant. She'd read the script. She had read that script. She knew what was coming.
I want someone who does a half decent Bonnie Langford impression to re-record The last
Brilliant.
hammer.
Oh, brilliant.
That's a little thing. Um, anyway, they managed to make their way back to Unit Tower, where at this point, Kate, Stuart,
Everyone's
and
dead.
they've all popped their clogs.
Everyone is dead.
Everyone is dead. It was from that very moment that I knew that we had a Deus Ex Machina coming. So everyone
That's
who's
where I
like,
lost
"Oh my
interest,
god, I
honestly.
can't believe that they did a Deus Ex Machina at the end and did like a big reset button," and I'm like, "Well, saw it coming ages ago."
Yeah. No,
Pretty much
that's when I lost it
did it.
because it's like, oh, okay, but it's all going to get reversed then. Okay, so nothing matters. Cool, great.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, when the Doctor and Mel catch up with Rubes, um, in the time window, we never find out why the Doctor sent her to the time window, explicitly anyway, because he told her to go there, and she's like,
Yeah.
"Why did you send me here?" Towards the end of the last episode, and it's never really explained. I'm guessing to shield her from Sutek's dust of death. Uh,
Well, it said it in the script,
did it?
didn't it? It said it in the script.
Yeah, it said it in the script. That's true.
It said it in the
Yeah,
script. That's as
that's,
good a reason as any in this week's episode, honestly. It said it in the
uh,
script.
something that's come in my head though is how when drug dealers make like new blends of cocaine and stuff.
I wouldn't know, Gregor. Where are you going? Where are you going with this? I
They do.
wouldn't know.
They
This
do
is
like
your area of expertise.
they
Don't
do it.
expect me to
I am
know.
not a drug. I don't take these things. I just know a little bit about the business practices of these illicit things.
You're very
Anyway,
familiar with it.
they give them funny names, and I'm hoping that someone makes a batch of cocaine and calls it Sutek's dust of death.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, lovely.
From sounds like you might be in need of some of Sutek's dust of
Yeah.
death.
Can I get a gram of Sutek's dust of death, please, mate? And then they just blow it into their face.
Shall I blow that?
Brilliant. God. Yeah, we don't know why he sent her there. I was thinking like maybe it's a protection thing because glass, like
It
obviously
probably
that's a
was,
protective
but
material.
it's not the fact that there is a feasible reason, it's the fact that they don't explain it.
No. And then he
That
sends
will come back again,
lovely
that particular.
Corporal Sullivan off to her death.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Oh,
gotta
yeah, go and
go
walk into the
gotta
dust.
go and see Daddy Harry again, isn't she?
He is holding a grudge.
Probably. Harry Sullivan is Nimbus. Uh, we
Oh
get a bit of
dear.
exposition from Sutek, who kindly offers an explanation for how he survived Pyramids of Mars.
Did you? When we got that little clip of him in the time vortex, like turning invisible, I screamed. It was the funniest thing I'd ever seen in my life.
I
I
hope,
screamed.
like in my head canon, he just couldn't have been sitting on top of the TARDIS for
I know.
all
But it was
those
just like
years.
the imagery of it. I was like, oh
No
my god, this
way
is so
it could work.
ridiculous.
There's no
No.
way it could work. People are like, he was obviously like, I think he says in the dialogue that he clung onto the backbone of the TARDIS or the spine of the TARDIS. So
It's made of
I'm
wood.
just guessing he was just sitting nestled in some wires for ages.
I imagined that he was like part of it, like the smoke. I didn't imagine a great big dog hanging onto it through the vortex. I thought it
Mm.
was ridiculous. I thought it was
Well, I
absolutely
don't think
ridiculous.
that's even I believe that they didn't think that's not how they envisioned it to be.
No.
Is
I
like
just, that
all the memes
whole,
are funny as anything, and that's probably why it
oh
can't
my
be
god, I
like
was screaming,
just
like
every time
out
any
loud.
like event that's taken place near or
Yeah.
like around the TARDIS, Sutek's been like saying, "Oh, hmm, what's going on here?
What's happening?
What the fuck is?"
Oh god.
And all the times like that when the TARDIS got blown up in series 5?
He,
Did he get blown up?
I think so. No, but people are really starting to get on my nerves now. Sorry, I'm really serious. People are really getting on my nerves now because now people are coming out trying to justify it, being like, "Oh, that's why Rose called herself the Bad Wolf because Sutek was in the TARDIS," and I'm like, "No, don't let Russell get away with it that easily. Be stronger."
My headcanon is not long after Pyramids of Mars. In fact, the next story after Pyramids of Mars is the android invasion. I
Mm.
think Sutek was clinging on to TARDIS. Android invasion was going on. He's like, God, this is fucking boring. I'm going for a nap. Fell asleep. And then cut to about 47 or 46 years later, Jodie Whittaker drops her fob watch in the TARDIS console,
He's
and
like,
it
"What's
hits him
this?
on the
What's going
head,
on
and it
here?"
wakes him up, and he's like, "Oh God, oh, I've got a revenge plan to be getting around to." And that's why we don't start seeing Susan Twist until like well beyond, you know.
God. I don't know. That whole thing is so messy. It's so messy.
It's not the first time someone's thrown a very messy idea into a series finale, and it's stretched back, tearing their hair out trying to work out how it
Are
all
you
fits
talking about the
together.
Timeless Child?
Just possibly.
Right, okay. We're not. Sorry, no. You're redeemed. Like, it's not comparable. I'm sorry. That was an actual story. That was an actual story. This is like, oh, yeah, by the way, I've had a dog for like 40, 50 years. By the way, like, no, sorry, I'm not having it. I'm not having it.
Also,
I'm not having it. I'm
yeah,
not.
I'm not as bothered by it. Like I do stick with my headcanon that Sutek slept for a long time. I mean, he was beaten to death in the Pyramids of Mars, so he was
I
probably
do think,
very
yeah,
bosomed by the time he was attached to the TARDIS, and he
I
was
do
never
think like maybe he needed to like regain some power. I get that, but I will not have people making excuses. That ridiculousness. I won't do that. I'm not sorry. No, not here.
Mm.
Podcast over.
Okay. Anyway, podcast not over because I've got more notes to tell you about. Um, the Doctor and Co escape Sutek by running into the memory TARDIS.
Well, and they only had one little scene, really, didn't they, together, talking.
I
It
thought,
was nice, though, in that scene. It was very, very nice of Sutek to rotate the TARDIS so that the plot at the end
look
of
at the
the
back of the
episode could
TARDIS. You don't get
actually.
to see that on screen very much, do you?
No, but it was nice of him to just turn it. I think that was very considerate of him, actually, to have the doors face. I think that was really considerate of him to read the script ahead of time so that was possible.
See, he's a smart cookie,
He
that
is.
Sutek.
He's thinking, look, I can't be here forever. I've got to go in a minute. I've only got like 40 minutes.
We've got
I'll
40
just
minutes.
turn this, and then later it'll be ready for that great big laser coming out the doors. Perfect. Very
Wonderful.
good. Oh,
Anyway, how do you feel about the memory TARDIS?
hate it.
You hate it?
Right, look, sorry, no, I'm sorry. We've had this discussion before. I think it's very goofy for the
Oh, you
actual
have
show,
said this before, actually,
and
yes.
I think it was made even more goofier in this episode. I like, oh look, oh magic rope, like oh K9's head is mounted on the wall like a hunting trophy.
Is it?
Magic rope everywhere, just like Yasmin Khan just hanging off something. It's like, sorry, what is
It is.
happening in this
But the
place?
fans liked Jasmine Can's police ID because they were like, "Oh, Jodie put up, nice."
Yeah, oh
Uh,
nice, we'll keep that. Like, just it's just what's going on? What's happening?
I mean, there's stuff I do like in it. I like the TARDIS console on the ceiling.
Oh, I like that. I like the
It
functional stuff. Don't get me wrong.
about it. I like how there is like blink and you'll miss it little bits of like, oh, there's a roundel from Capaldi's TARDIS, or there's the basket thing from the Hartnell TARDIS. And also another thing that I spotted on the rewatch is that they mix sound effects together. So when the Doctor closes the door, it plays both the from the from the
Do that
classic
again.
TARDIS.
Very good.
Thank you. And it plays the squeaky door noise from the new series as well.
Mm.
You know, they couldn't settle on which noise.
No,
But
just throw them all in there.
well, I mean, they
Let's have them
threw in
all.
the design elements. They might as well throw in the sounds as well.
I
It just all
just look. I
work.
like all the functional bits. I don't mind it, but it's clutter. It just doesn't even cover it. Like there are memories in there that I don't even remember. They only happened a few years ago. I'm like, sorry, what? There's so much. I don't like it, and I don't like how he just walked into the TARDIS where it's in the time window. I just really don't like the fact that last week we sort of had the whole, it sort of looks real, but he just strolled in, and I'm like, sorry, babe, like,
We'll put these points on a list because towards the end
oh,
we'll
I have a very long
be throwing them
list.
into sort of like the final overall thoughts and
Do you get what I
things.
mean, though?
I do get what you mean, but
It's like,
I'm
come on,
saying like
wait, assess the situation. What's going on?
what is going on.
Oh no, what is going
Apparently,
on?
Ruby Sunday made these things real through her power of whatever thing. Apparently, she helped like increase the memories and things.
Yeah,
Uh,
no,
though I don't think she ever came across Colin Baker's jacket, so
no, no.
it doesn't quite add up as a fair explanation. But anyway, they get into it. Did you know
Oh, here we
that
go.
the TARDIS that memory TARDIS set was built specifically for this story, and it wasn't until after they finished filming Empire of Death that Rusty Davis was like, "Wouldn't it be wonderful to get Peter Davison back in costume?
That's very good.
And,
That was very good. No, I didn't know that, but I had sort of guessed it, to be honest.
but the entire concept for Tales of the TARDIS didn't happen until after they finished filming the
Which means
story.
there's no excuse for how goofy it looks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fair.
yeah, yeah.
Um, anyway, they're in the memory TARDIS.
Everyone's
I do like
dead.
the scene
Yeah.
where, especially I like the performance from Ncuti when he has his sort of his little breakdown. It's probably one of the few times in this series where I think he's very justified in his reaction because he's like,
Mhm.
my entire legacy of saving people has just been fucking ruined by Sutek, you know, and there was no
Yes.
point to anything I've done because everyone's dead anyway. And he has his breakdown.
Yeah. Do you
He,
know what though?
mm,
I haven't had a problem with. Some people have had a problem, but I haven't this series with the amount of times he cries. I
it's
haven't
not
had a
that he does cry; it's the amount of times because I think it lessens the impact with the more
precisely.
meaningful ones.
If he had
Like,
not cried as much as he did this series, that would have felt so much more powerful.
uh, he cried when Maestro appeared. Like, he's like, "Oh no, it's one of the
Yeah.
toy
Oh
makers."
no.
No. I think
Oh
he
no,
cries
it's
in
a laugh. It's a laugh. Run away. Oh no.
Space Babies at some point
I
for some
think he
reason.
does.
I he cries in Ruby Road when Ruby gets undone, which I don't
Yeah.
think because the Doctor fixes it quite quickly. I don't think that's the best
Bit
one.
dramatic, yeah.
I'm sorry, Dot and Bubble. I'll maybe let him off with
Yeah.
Dot and
Dot
Bubble
and Bubble,
because
absolutely fine with that. 100% get it. Really, really good. Yeah.
in the Boom one, he cries when Ruby Sunday gets shot.
Yeah, sort of. It's
Kind
alright.
of, but I like he didn't like because he was stuck on like because he wasn't supposed to be changing his body levels. You could have
No.
like had him repressing
To be
emotions, you
fair
know.
though, he had known her like 6 years at that point, so
6 months, Janey.
Well, no, I don't like accounting for like in between episodes. You've known her
Alright.
for like 6 years. Come on. So
Uh,
that's sort of fair enough.
anyway, I think his performance in that scene was really good. Uh,
Mm,
the Daleks get their first mention in Shooty's Run in this scene
yes.
as well. I
Mm-hmm.
almost forgot that they were a thing. So we
Mm-hmm.
briefly get a shot of Skaro and Skaro being destroyed, and
And
the Daleks are dead.
Mel knows
Mel
who they
knows what
are,
a Dalek is.
apparently.
Well, Big Finish,
Well,
obviously.
yeah, big finish, but this is like confirmation then.
There's confirmation. Also, if you are a very Big Finish auntie, she works for Unit, so it's not necessarily a surprise.
No,
Even though
that's true, actually. That is true. But the significance, I don't know if that would have been there if it wasn't for her actually having adventures that involved them,
Mhm.
you know?
No, that's true. But yeah, it's weird that they haven't been mentioned. Like they've been barely mentioned at all in this era. Like I think the only other
Mm,
time they get name dropped is in the Giggle, possibly.
do they?
Uh, well, Donna's talking about all the things that they've done, and she's
Oh,
like, "Oh,
yeah.
Alex tried to destroy the universe." I understood that. It's a line.
Yeah.
I understood what
I
it
get
like.
it. I
I
can
get
understand.
it. I've been seeing the prediction polls for the election. I get what I get what they're after. Uh, but yeah, it is making me crave a little bit of Dalek. We'll maybe talk about that
Yeah.
later on.
Mm.
Anyway, from that scene we move to probably my favorite scene in the
Oh.
story, which is the
Oh.
scene with Shan Clifford,
Yeah. Mm.
where Shooty wants a spoon.
Mm.
I think, like, I know you're chuckling right now, but how much worse would this story be without that scene, Janey? Because there's this whole thing about the universe being dead, and this
Yeah.
is the scene which shows you this is what it's like when the universe is dead. This is the damage that has been done. It's so miserable and depressing, and
Mm.
don't get me
It's
getting
definitely
reptiles.
depressing. It's definitely depressing.
But it's intentionally depressing in this scene,
Now,
which I think,
honestly.
ugh.
Oh
I like
god.
this scene. You can't shit on this scene too much because
Ugh.
I think it's a good little respite and a good little character piece. And seeing the Doctor on his own almost chatting to a stranger, uh,
Mm.
having a meaningful conversation like that is a good moment for Shooty, and I think for his Doctor in terms of fleshing him out more. It's good to have scenes like that rather than him just interacting with like Ruby and Mel for the whole story as well. Uh,
Yeah. The thing
well,
that I didn't quite get why we needed it was the whole memory is dying because we didn't see that play out. Well, I suppose we did with Mel, but again,
yeah,
like it didn't mean
and we did with
much.
the Doctor as well, which some people forgot about
Which bit
online.
was
They
that?
had a bit of a mental breakdown
Mm.
because actually this moves on to my other note as well. We
Oh,
get we
perfect.
get clips of Pyramids of Mars, the new
Yeah,
version
yeah.
from the Tales of the TARDIS. Which I wasn't necessarily happy about. I enjoyed the new version, but I'm like, I'm kind of a bit. Does that erase the original version from the canon? Uh,
Um, I don't know.
I don't
I'm
know.
probably the wrong person to ask,
I
to be
don't think that's the right
honest.
person to ask. No. But in that scene, Ruby sees Tom and Liz on the screen, and
Mhm.
she's like, "Who are they?" And the Doctor pauses for a moment. He's like, "They used to travel in the TARDIS." And people had a mental breakdown. They're like, "They are. How can he be so abrasive about Sarah Jane Smith?"
To be honest though, I didn't interpret that
It's
as
because he's forgotten. He doesn't remember properly,
I
is
didn't
why he
interpret it as that.
people used to travel in the TARDIS.
I really didn't interpret it as that because up until last week, she didn't
Mhm.
even know he could regenerate. So I just think he's keeping his hands close to his chest. I just
Which
think he
could
was
be that, I
just,
suppose, but in
yeah,
a
I
way,
just think he does it. He's not very open with her.
I don't think that's fair criticism that they're trying to undo Sarah Jane Smith or something like that.
I just think he doesn't share a lot.
Well, he shares a lot,
I
JD.
don't
He
think he
shares a
shares a
lot.
lot.
He shares his tears a lot.
Well, he definitely does that.
Definitely does
But
that.
I don't
Uh,
know. I just didn't interpret it as that.
anyway, like this,
And again, what's
combined.
the significance? Why did we need him to? What? Russell, please. Why?
Why what?
Do you know what I mean?
Why did he what?
Well, why did we need to have the whole memories dying thing? Like, what does it really add to the story? Am I missing something?
Uh,
I
I'm
mean, we had
guessing
the whole baby thing. I forgot the baby was dead. That might just mean that you're a careless mother. But I but I just don't see really it I
actually
don't
I do know because it's not just one big wave of death around the universe like
Mhm.
the flux was, because Two Tech popped up all these different points in time.
Right.
So the past is getting erased as well as the present, so that's why
Right. Oh, there
memories
we go
dying.
then. Okay.
That's why. Uh,
Okay,
yeah,
well then that's fine.
that's fine. The past
I'll
is
let
being
that one
erased.
go.
That is fine. Uh, anyway, something that wasn't let go was oh, that doesn't work as a wedge. Never mind.
Oh
We'll
no,
keep
go on,
going
I
with
wanna
it.
hear what it is now.
Gwillem, 73 yards. He's back for a scene.
He is back.
That's everyone was absolutely desperate for Gwilliam to come back.
Were
What
they?
tech? People are like, oh god, I hope that screen glitches and it says Gwilliam. Susan just looks up and she's
It
Gwilliam.
probably would have been better.
He's a praised fascist, isn't he? Uh, how do you feel about the return of Gwilliam?
Uh, um, I understand why it needed to happen, but yeah, no, actually, I'm not mad about it. I'm
I
okay with
think
it.
it makes 73 yards feel a little bit more purposeful, that
I
it kind of
think,
chimes into this in a way.
yeah, I would agree. Actually, I do think that this episode makes 73 yards feel less shit. Um,
Yeah, 'cause one of the big criticisms we had was like, what's the point of all this? And it feels like
precisely.
we've got a little bit more of there was like a little bit more points of it than we thought initially.
Well,
And there
mm,
was something about seeing 73, like the distance of 73 yards, wasn't there? To do with the
yeah,
camera.
the TARDIS perception filter is 73
Ah,
yards, which again,
ah.
like, why do we need to know that?
Well,
Here we
I
go.
think
I will not
yeah,
listen to a Russell T Davis apologist. I
not a
won't.
Russell Davies apology. It's a theory
Yes,
because
I
when
know what you're gonna say.
we see the woman for the first
Yeah.
time, when she was standing next to the TARDIS.
Yeah. And I
What
think
if
that's
the
fine.
TARDIS had just
I think
opened?
that is fine, but I'm not sure it warranted an entire episode. That's my only criticism, is that I think that's fine to have a little bit of lore there, but inevitably, like, okay, sorry, I don't care.
You don't care. All right.
I don't care about lot this week. I stopped caring very early on.
Well, we're gonna press on, Janey.
Ugh,
Get you
great.
through it. Uh, they land in 2046 to go and see the dust of Gwillem.
Yeah.
Gwilliam. Fun fact about this bit: after they land
Hmm.
in the records office or wherever they are, the memory TARDIS was supposed to meet its demise. It was
Oh,
going to get erased, I think,
right.
and they filmed it to be such. but they cut it
Ah,
from the final episode.
so they could do the more.
Well, I don't think they cut it so they could do the Tales of the TARDIS. I think it was cut for timing reasons,
Right.
but it paved the way for Tales of the TARDIS anyhow.
Mm.
So that's just an interesting bit of trivia, and like the idea that it's still out there and picks up out of work Doctor Who actors so they can remember old stories.
But again, it's kind of like when Russell, because I didn't watch the commentary episode, but I've seen like little
Yep.
bits. And when he's like, oh, yeah, and I don't know what happened to it, but like, I imagine it just like slipped off. I'm just
It
like,
slipped away.
yeah, I'm just sort of like, well, did it or didn't it? Like, you're the writer. Like, don't ask me. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you're not supposed to have a head canon, you're supposed to write it. That is the canon. So what happened?
Uh,
Do you know
Um,
do you know what I mean?
well, I think the Tales of the TARDIS makes it into canon because that's like evidence that it's out there and doing these things.
Yeah, well, I
Before
guess
they
so.
enter the TARDIS, the Doctor gets his whistle. Uh,
Oh god, yeah,
we're
great.
just gonna put that on a little bulletin
Yeah,
or thing,
great.
and just keep that because that will become relevant. How the Doctor gets his whistle later on,
How he gets it or why he gets it.
how he gets it,
How he gets it.
because it's a magic whistle, and he just
Oh, of
randomly
course, of course, of
he
course.
pulls
We've got
out
magic gloves, got
the
magic string. We have
Well,
to have a magic whistle.
it's not literally magic. The Doctor builds these gadgets,
What, he built
like
a
the glove.
whistle?
He built the glove, didn't he? And the rope was the same
Yeah.
technology as the
Well,
glove.
he didn't. When did he build the rope? It was just there. That's what I'm
Same
talking
technology
about.
as the glove.
Mm.
I'm guessing he built it at some point in the past, and it was a remembered rope,
Yeah,
or the future,
great. What
potentially.
a brilliant
Anyway,
memory.
anyway, they're in the records office getting the records. Um, Another fun thing that was cut from this episode, probably before they filmed it, was there was going to be some zombie civil servants knocking about.
Oh,
Sutek had taken
that
over
would have
some
been
politics.
better.
Definitely a little bit of Russell being like, politicians evil, writing in his
Yeah,
script. I'm guessing
true.
they didn't do that because the idea is that everyone in that time zone was erased, and Sutek didn't need to have anyone around because Sutek
Yeah.
wasn't in that time zone.
Mm.
Uh, but yeah, it's just a little fun bit of behind the scenes is that they
It
wanted
would have been fun. Yeah, it would have been.
zombie Silver Stones. They got Zombie Mel instead, uh,
Yeah.
who gets a little jump scary thing at that bit where Ruby turns around and the Doctor's at not gunpoint, it's
Well,
hand
at hand point, the hand of Sutek returns.
the bomb hand. Smell the hand, smell it.
Mel, where were you during the summer of 1911? Oh, I was just in a tomb, just hiding behind a chair.
Just holding Sutek steady.
Oh God. Yeah, it was sort of a jump scare, but we all knew it was going to happen for like
It,
quite a long time at that
it
point.
did.
Because she'd had a little
Uh,
twitch in the TARDIS, so it was like, oh, that's
little,
going to happen then.
little twitchy twitch.
Little twitch.
She was getting seduced by Sutek.
Wow, wouldn't you?
Wouldn't you? Uh, anyway, we get transported back to Big Sooty,
Yep.
Big Sooty and
Big
Sweet. Uh,
Sooty. Very good.
um, and they have their final confrontation with him.
Mm,
Something that I liked, a little detail in this, was the Doctor got Sutek'd again, which he hadn't
subject
done.
again.
He gets the he
Oh,
gets
yes, of course. Yes.
and they use the same sound effect and everything.
Mm.
And I just like to imagine that in his head he's like, "Oh, not this shit again."
Yeah.
Bloody, that was a nice touch. And then, as with many of Russell T Davies' finales, the companion is the one to trigger the demise of the big bad.
Hmm.
Like Martha did for the Master, Rose did for the Daleks, Donna did for
Yes.
the Daleks as well.
But I'm still asking
But
myself the question, why has it gone this far? Why does he care? Why isn't the doctor dead? Like, why does he care? They've got the DNA of the
they really do
mum.
make up the mum, don't they?
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah,
oh, we've got the DNA. Oh, well, we'll wait until they've
why
got the
care?
DNA and then I'll kill them. Like, why do you care?
I
Why
get
do you
why
care?
he cares because he's all-knowing and all-seeing, except
Yes.
one thing, and the one thing he can't have, he gets obsessed with, which
Yes, yes,
seems
yes. Yes, but
quite
why doesn't he know why? She's just a
that
woman.
is where it goes wrong.
No,
Two
all of these things are
ways
connected
to
very
lie.
tightly with intelligent rope, and none of it makes sense because of one little detail.
Ruby's
None
the
of it
whole
makes
thing around
sense,
Ruby's mum
honestly.
is where the whole thing around Ruby's mum is where it kind of falls flat. But
Yeah, totally.
we'll get to that because at this point when I was watching the
Mhm.
episode for the first time, I had no problems with Sutek being obsessed with Ruby's mum.
Oh, at this point, no, 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 you're right.
Sutek being obsessed with Ruby's mum.
Oh
Ruby's
God,
mum has got it
it's
going on.
got it
She's
going
all
on.
out
Very
of
good.
fun. I've been waiting so long.
Very good.
I need to make.
Oh
Do you think we
God.
could get Gabriel Rolfe into a recording studio so he can sing a cover of Bass Club?
Oh God.
I'm not the little siren that I used to be.
Oh God.
No.
It would have been
I'm
better.
closing that there. Closing that there.
Would have been better.
Too much.
Oh, it
Um,
snows again. It snowed again this episode. Why? No reason.
they filmed it in January, though.
That'll be
No,
why.
they didn't. Uh, I have to say, I'm okay with the rope and glove being used because
For walkies.
technology had been established and the gloves had been established long ago. And I do like it when they get sort of pre-things and utilize them
Mm.
in resolutions. I know the rope was only established earlier in the episode, but it was
Well,
established
I
as the
have
same
the
thing
rope
as the
is
glove.
excellent. It's like it can like change the weight of things. When you pull the rope, Sutek doesn't move. Like it's obviously very stretchy rope because he doesn't move an inch. Like it's brilliant. It is. It's a marvel of technology. But I didn't like it.
Well, we'll have to disagree on that particular bit. I think
Okay,
that
well there we go.
technology was established as far back as Church of Ruby Road that the Doctor could
Hmm.
invent fabric-based items that could handle weight
That can
in
stretch
natural that
a
can
lot.
stretch.
Yeah.
So I'm not too bothered about that. Um, and the whistle gets utilized here. I was cross initially about the whistle because that hadn't been explained, and suddenly he's peep peep peep.
There should have been
Beep.
a line in there somewhere
Well,
where he just said, "I've."
we're not done with the whistle yet.
Oh,
I'll
are we
explain.
not?
But initially, I was a bit miffed about the whistle being used to control the TARDIS so easily, and it's
I'm
like,
not mad on it, to be honest. I
couldn't you
don't.
just whip out that whistle at any time and been like, "Hey, Sutek, beep 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 beep," and then buggered up his plan. Uh, but we'll get to the whistle again because
Yeah.
it's surprising what's been done with this whistle. Uh,
God,
in
why would you
fact,
say it like that?
we'll get to the whistle now
Oh, what's
because
happened with the
I
whistle?
they cut something from this episode about the whistle.
Right. Right. Oh,
When the
God.
Doctor is flying the TARDIS, Sutek's going his walkies.
Yeah.
The Doctor, there's a scene where the Doctor throws the whistle into the TARDIS and it ends up in the memory TARDIS. When that's how the Doctor grabs the whistle. So the special whistle is a paradox. That's the idea, is that the
Oh,
Doctor gives the whistle
God.
to his past self. When he drops it in the
Oh,
TARDIS, it ends up
God.
in
I'm
the
so
memory
glad
TARDIS.
that got cut.
Well, there is one annoying
No.
thing that happened as a result of the cut, and that is the
What?
whistle vanishes mysteriously. He has it
Oh, does
round his
it?
neck for a second, and it is gone the next because they cut the scene where he takes it off and
Nice.
puts it harness, and Russell points this out in the commentary. He points out a continuity error for everyone to
Nice.
see. And I didn't
Nice.
notice it before. And it's not when he's like, look, the whistle vanishes. Like, you're making the episode worse
Oh
deliberately
God.
now.
Oh, I'm so glad they cut that though. That is no. I wouldn't. I'd have been even more unhappy.
That's how he has the whistle. That's why he got the whistle when he did. Anyway, they dispatch with Sutek, or
Mm,
they use Sutek to fix the problems. Death
yeah.
cancels death.
Yeah. Which means Adric is
Yeah,
alive.
it does.
Adric is
Nah,
alive.
I think it's only the Dusty deaths that got undone.
Adric.
Adric never died, Janey.
Well,
He's been
can I
alive
just
the whole
say
time.
he is
When
still
he
among
got blown
us.
up,
He works in mysterious ways though.
When he got blown up, he did a Sutek and he latched onto the
I think
TARDIS.
so. Can I just say though, you say it's only dusty deaths. The Link's got his head like yeeted across the room, and all of a sudden it's there again. So I think we can argue the case that other deaths are reversed as well.
Unless the Blinks didn't get fixed by the Sutek thing, and when all the other people came back, they're just like, oh, quick, fix the Blinks, put his head
Yeah,
back on quickly. Get a
there was an
screwdriver, put
extra
it.
scene that Russell cut out.
There was another extra scene that Russell cut out. Because Lynx is a machine and therefore is not alive and wouldn't be.
Well,
He's not alive. He's a machine, Janey.
we don't
He's a
know
robot.
that,
I know that,
do
or
you?
I assume that because he seems
What
to
if
be
he's
a
got a
robot.
real mind in there,
Well,
unplugged from a person into a
I actually hope we find out.
robot?
I
I
actually hope
hope
we
we
find
bloody
out
find out because we've
because
had 3 episodes from now, and I still don't know who the fucker is.
exact thoughts on the blink. Like, who is this fucking?
Who is this fucker?
Is it just they really wanted Nicholas Briggs to be in these stories?
Yeah,
And
he's on the
to the
payroll. We've got to add him into something.
so he can be in it.
Oh god.
I'm still on the theory that the Lynx will, if not turn evil by himself, someone will take over the Lynx and utilize him. I'm
Oh,
surprised
I
Sutek.
think we are going to have full on Mr. Smith vibes going on.
You're
Where like
thinking
he
it's
traps one of the child employees in his brain, and then the child employee tries to type back. He's gone bad. No one listens, and then all of a sudden he pulls a gun on them. That's what's going to happen.
there's one 13-year-old child
What about
genius.
Rose? What about Rose? She's like 15.
Okay, fine. We'll just
And
go with
don't
the
tell me there aren't more. Just because we don't
lower
see
levels.
them,
Just when they're
there
walking
are
through the
more
corridor,
working away in a basement
just
somewhere.
walks past a 10-year-old in full body armor with a fucking M16 in his
I
hands, like,
work for
hello.
UNIT. I think we could use you. I'm in school. Leave me alone.
No minimum wage for you.
Oh, God.
The law says I only need to pay you £3 an hour.
Oh,
Uh,
dear.
on the subject of units, apparently
Ow.
Kate created a terrible crime.
Oh.
Uh,
Well,
she held a
child
man's.
labour.
She held a
Yes,
man's.
right. Okay. No. No. No.
All right. I was gonna be like,
I'm
I've
not.
I've held lesbians' hands before, and it's like fine, so I wouldn't make too much of a fuss about
There
it.
was something else, and they have been very close. Something has been going on. She's very
Maybe
protective
Kate's
of
one of
him.
those people who just has no limit to, you know,
Well, I said this on Twitter, and this is how
any
I feel.
any
I
go.
hope, I hope her and Osgood have an open relationship because I will not stand a cheater. I won't.
Yeah. If I'm honest, my initial reaction to that moment was not about sexuality at all. It was
Mm,
about Christ, that's an age
that's why
gap.
you and I.
I mean, that is it because I
She's a
think
cougar.
she's a cougar.
She's
Yeah,
a cougar.
Gemma Redgrave is, I think, about 60 now.
Is she?
And yeah, she is looking good
Bloody
for it.
hell, she
But
looks amazing.
the guy
She's
who
better than
plays
me. I'm only in my
is like
20s.
mid. Yeah, the guy who plays Ibrahim's in his like mid-30s, I think. And I'm like, oof,
Oh, very
all right.
good. Wow. I'm still
I
not
thought
happy
about
with
it.
that, but very good.
I
Good on
don't
her.
think Kate. I think I don't think there's anything to contradict Kate being interested in same-sex relations.
Well, I
So
hope not.
all the people who ship her with Osgood and stuff, I think you're okay. I don't think you're in any danger. Uh, yeah, I think you're.
Wow.
There's no cause for alarm. Is
Well,
my
we'll see. We'll
We'll
see.
see. Someone behind the scenes was very enthusiastic about that moment. It wasn't Russell T Davies.
Who was
Um,
it?
Vicky something. He was like, "Oh look, they hold hands. Oh, romance. Oh,
Oh, yes. No.
great,
What did she
wonderful."
actually say?
Great.
Romance?
She says more than friends, which is
Mo-
basically they are more than friends. They're best friends.
More than friends.
They're besties. They're best friends.
Okay. Really friends either.
Best
It's very
friends hold
unprofessional,
each
whichever way
other's
you look
hands.
at it. Very unprofessional.
No, it's Kate and her friends. It's like Thomas and Friends. It's Kate and
Oh,
her
good.
friends.
Right. Oh, God. Oh, yeah, no, not a fan of it. Sorry.
Kate, why have you got a 13-year-old boy in your employ? He's not my employee, he's my friend.
Oh, God. That is awful. Awful. Sorry, I don't think so. Was it nice? Yeah, sure, if you like that sort of thing. I'm not judging. But
I think I think it's just a symbol of unity, and the human race stands
yeah,
together in the
mm,
face of evil.
dust.
Uh,
Yeah, in the
that's
face
how
of
I
dust.
interpret it. The face
Anyway,
of dust.
meanwhile, there's a
Meanwhile, oh,
roller coaster ride going on up there. Yeah, they're all back.
no, no. He name drops Vortis
Yes.
from the Web Planet. By the way, I
Oh,
mentioned
yes.
about the Zarbi being in The Legend of Ruby Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
getting cut. But he mentions Vortis and he mentions Spyrodon,
Yes, he does.
which could only mean he visited those planets after the stories they were set on, because that
Ah.
battle came before the
Well,
Kingdom
expanded
Hearts.
media
Yeah, I suppose. I think he has visited
in
in the
the Emperor of the Daleks comic strip. The Seventh Doctor went to Spyrodon. I don't know if he took his TARDIS, but that happened.
Are you into the
Expanded
comic?
media. Um, n- mm, not no, but I got that one.
I think he also visits Spyrodon in Brotherhood of the Daleks and Big Finish, Colin Baker.
Ah,
And Vortis, I don't have a lot of interest in the Web Planet at all or anything in
no,
relation
we
to
discussed
it.
this. I quite like it.
You may like it. You're allowed to like it.
Thank you. Thanks.
But it doesn't tickle my
You're
pickle.
allowed to like it, I
Yeah,
guess.
like, I will accept that.
Thank you very much.
But I think he has visited it in Big Finish and stuff before.
Right.
Essentially, Rusty Davis is canonizing those stories, even though he has decanonized all the Sutek Big Finish stuff.
Oh,
Uh,
has he?
well,
Oh, I
yeah,
suppose so,
Sutek
yeah.
popped up in Big Finish, but according to this, he has
He's
done
just
stuff
been
for
hanging on to the TARDIS all that time, yeah.
yeah. I have a
Interesting.
feeling that they're gonna bring that in somehow. Just Big Finish.
Oh,
They're just like
100%.
at the end of every story, they're just gonna be like, Sutek just gives his thoughts. He's like, "Oh, that was an interest. Oh, I was on the edge of my seat there, on the edge of the TARDIS, sitting. Oh, what's gonna happen?" Very good.
Oh,
Uh,
God.
but yeah, we get that. It's just an interesting thing to know because they're such quick throwaway lines, but
Yeah. Talked a lot
interesting to
about
know.
the Ood this episode.
Well, we love the Ood, so
We do love the Ood.
fine.
That's true.
Uh, Anyway, how sharp are those TARDIS doors?
Yeah.
They cut Doctor
Yeah,
Strange
that's
throat.
what I was thinking actually. And it's very
I
hardy rope, so
It's very Hardy rope, very Tom Hardy. Uh, I'm just trying to think of
very good.
examples of stories where someone stuck their arm through the doors, like, "Let me in, doctor!" Uh,
Immediately sliced off.
immediately sliced off. It's just a severed arm lying on the floor of the
Oh, not
TARDIS.
another one.
Another one, God.
Oh
Why do you
dear.
think they had all those mops in Orphan 55? Where do you think
So
they're
true.
so conveniently on hand? Uh,
So
that's
anyway, he closes the door, Sutek is off.
he is
I
off.
really, 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 I'm being serious here. I actually really, really, really disliked that ending.
You don't like that Sutek was
Right.
defeated in this way?
No, 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 no. I'm sorry. How did he defeat him last time?
He threw him into the time vortex and aged him to death.
Right. Well, didn't happen. Um, and how has he defeated him this time?
He threw him into the time vortex and aged him to death.
That's all I have
I
to say.
I think it was more of a finishing what he started. Like, you didn't quite age to death last time, Sutek. Let's just finish the job. Let's just get you to the
No,
end.
sorry. I won't. No, no, sorry. I'm
What you
right on this.
can
I am
see
right on
it,
this.
it looks pretty the entire
It looks very, very good, but it looks very, very good. I just the
That
story.
was weird.
Do you know what? I think I've worked it out. I've worked out why it looks like that. Do you want to hear my theory?
Mhm.
Right. So I was very, very silly on Twitter and just sort of said, why does it look like he's patched up the bottom of the TARDIS with parts of a World War II air raid shelter? Did sort of look like that. Um,
Very well.
and I've worked out why it looks like that. The last time we saw, I think, the underside of the TARDIS, or not saw it, but knew that it was, Jodie was working in it in
Skyfall.
Skyfall Part 1
Yeah.
in a garage. Look at the roof of that
Skyfall.
garage,
Skyfall.
it's corrugated iron. She's patched it up with the roof of that garage. That garage is missing half its roof.
That's fair headcanon. That's fair headcanon.
Thank you,
Uh,
because why else would it look like that? So
well,
she's a
I don't
cheeky
think
little
she
miss.
did it because she has to stop mid-repair to get collected by the spies,
Mm.
and they bring the TARDIS to the spy headquarters, so I think they must have done it.
I think what happened was she went,
Not
hang
very
on
far
one
away.
second, guys. I'm just going to use my sonic, whipped a bit off the roof and underneath, just sort of put it under the TARDIS. Oh, job done, job done. I hope I don't have a big dog
She was in a
chasing me through the
hurry.
vortex
She was
anytime.
in a
That's going to be
hurry because
rough.
she was in a hurry. That's why she patched up with the thing. Because the
She was
guy's like, "What are you
what?
doing?" She was in a hurry to get away
She
because the guy
wasn't at precisely my point. I think she did a very good job. It's lasted hundreds of years, probably.
heads up. Uh,
So, but no, that's my headcanon.
Ted Cannon. My one was just it slides away and reveals all the gubbins inside to fix up, but your one's fine.
Thank you.
Uh,
Fine, thanks.
your one's acceptable.
Okay,
I'm
thank
not
you.
bothered by this scene too much. The whole Deus Ex Machina thing, um, or Sutek being killed off so easily, should we say?
Not killed off, but
Because
yeah.
some people, the Sutek being defeated so easily,
Being postponed.
being postponed so easily, is exactly what happened in Pyramids of Mars. So I mean,
Yes.
if it's
But
okay
we
there,
didn't know that's what happened. We thought he was dead.
we thought he was dead.
And this time we know better, don't we?
Uh, yeah,
No,
I don't think he will be coming back.
I don't
Like,
think he'll be coming back, but
I
he
think
is not
Russell
dead.
Sutek's out. He's Sutek'd out.
Yeah,
Uh,
well,
on to
me too
Crowley's
after this week.
finale. No, we'll talk about what Russell might want to do next.
Mm,
Anyway, now it's time for the things I actually think are really bad. because I don't mind the Sutekh sequence. I think it looks nice, and I'm not bothered by the fact he's killed easily because it happened in the last
Well, we
one.
then
And
meet Ruby's real mum after that, and
this
that
is
is where our
where
troubles start.
this is where my troubles start, like, properly, because I am in total agreement that
Shit.
they built her up way too much for it
Yeah.
to be paid off in that way, and there's so many things throughout the series that suggested she was abnormal. The changing of the timelines for the
The
pointed,
snow,
ambulance
everything.
not being able to find the next of kin.
Yes.
There's a lot of things, and I think if Russell wanted to go down this route, he should have double checked what have I got coming before this to make sure it all works. I don't think he did.
Yeah.
Do you know why he chose to write it this way?
Yes, I do. I've heard it, and it is bullshit.
Because he hated the Rise of Skywalker.
Because he hated what?
So, did you watch the Disney Star Wars films with Daisy Ridley and that?
Yes.
And in there's like this whole thing about where did Rey come from
Mm.
and all of that. And in the second film, they say Rey was she didn't come from anywhere. She just came from a really boring background. And then in the next film, they retcon it and are like, actually, she's a relative of the Emperor.
Right.
Um, and Russell T Davies didn't like that. He was pissed. He's like, no, they should have left it as they did initially. And this was almost his way of retaliating. to-
Absolutely not. No, I'm not. I'm not talking. No, you know what? I'm not talking about it anymore. I'm sorry.
I think it's dumb as well.
I'm not. I'm
I
actually
think
not.
the
It.
retcon of Star
Oh, I
Wars.
hate it. I hate it so
Every,
much.
do you hate the Star Wars thing or the Russell thing?
Oh no, no, no. I don't. I'm not really a Star Wars person, but that was fine. Honestly, it was. Didn't bother me. But this really bothers me.
Well, the thing
This was
is,
shit.
why is there this need to subvert expectations in this way of being like, why can't things just be really
But also,
bland?
do you know what I really hated? I could actually, I have talked about like the snow and stuff, and I sort of
Mm,
I can understand the whole, oh, that was such a raw memory that it opened up something, and that's why you got the snow and stuff. I get that.
yeah.
Absolutely fine. We're not talking about lamppost and the sign. I'm sorry, we're not. Um, but what I don't get, I have lost my
Sorry.
train
What
of
don't you get?
thought. I don't know because I've forgotten what I was going to say because I've got so
Good.
angry.
It cut out. It cut out. Maybe that
What
is
was I
why it
going to
cuts
say?
out. When you become angry, it interferes with the electrical.
Maybe. What was I going to say? Oh,
You were cross about the Ruby's mum being perfectly normal,
yes.
and I said the Star Wars thing. I was gonna say I don't like the idea that there's this sort of desperation for subverting expectations and things being
Oh,
they're all just
yeah.
being normal because people won't expect it and it's different.
No.
Like Doctor Who and Star Wars are basic. Ultimately, I mean, Doctor Who does a lot of complicated, interesting stories.
So
And
usually, yeah.
it's good versus evil.
Yeah.
It's pew pew laser guns, swish wish spaceships. That's what it's all about at the end of the day, this desperation to make it something
It's
more.
yeah, I can't
Although
and
you
this was
don't need
just
to try that hard.
stupid.
Ruby's mum should have been more because
Someone.
it's Doctor Who, and Doctor Who does that, and
Well,
that's
she
fine.
either should have been someone or we shouldn't have had this massive up. And I was going to say was I can get over all of the timey-wimey, it's snowing because everything's so raw kind of thing. What I can't get over is them then just like justifying it by being like, Ruby, do you know why Sutek couldn't see her? Do you know why we couldn't see her? It's because she's so important to you. Like, no, that's not
It
how it works.
feels
That's
very shoddy,
it's
yes.
not how it works. Like, oh, I can't
This
see that lady
gonna
over there because she's really
come into
important to someone.
this is gonna
Like,
come into a Gregor opinion in a minute.
oh, here
Uh,
we go.
here we go. Or not in a minute. Like when we finish the review, I
Oh.
will be passing some judgments, and these things will come in to it. Anyway, we're gonna move on a little bit. We get a coffee shop scene, and all of that. Something I will point out is after a very action-heavy, uh, sort of, what's the climax, shooting and stuff, or very, very fantasy-heavy, action-heavy, lots of crazy things going on, giant dog
Yeah.
through the time vortex. Um, Going to a very domestic and quiet environment feels very RTD. Like it happened a lot in his
Yes,
finale
it
when they
does,
defeated the
actually.
dad, and then they're going to. Moffat did it a couple of times as well. That does echo a lot of
I mean, it
familiarity.
literally is like end of the world. We've just watched Earth being destroyed. Let's go and get chips. Like, it is very Rusty Davis one.
And I expected it, so I'm fine with that overall vibe.
Yeah, I didn't expect it, to be honest, because I just wasn't thinking about it, but I'm okay with it.
Uh-huh. And that's another scene that a lot of people saw them filming. Folks thought
Mm.
they were the Doctor and Ruby were having an argument in that scene.
Oh.
Evidently not, uh, or not very much of an argument anyway,
Mm.
which, is kind of a shame in a way, 'cause remember I said I wanted there to be a bit of tension so
Yes.
that they could, so that their story is more
God, you're
complex,
always ready
more
for a scrap,
interesting.
aren't you?
I am. I am. Uh, it's an okay scene. I mean, out of context, the clip where Ruby just sits opposite her, and the first thing she says is, "I
I
was
was named
named
after a road.
I I have to make that into a TikTok meme and be like,
Oh God.
when you've ran out of pickup lines. I was named after her.
I was named after a road. Okay, sure. Great.
Uh,
Oh God. Oh God.
I'm gonna edit that scene. I'm gonna
Can't.
plaster
I
Toad
don't
from
have the
Mario.
energy.
I'm gonna plaster Toad from Mario over Ruby and have him being like, "I was named after a toad."
I only vaguely know what you're talking about, but everything's funny. Oh, it's so funny. I've got to cry. I've got to try. I've got to laugh,
You've
otherwise I will cry.
lost it, haven't you?
I've totally lost it. Oh my God. And so did Russell at the end. Let's be honest. Sorry. But
Probably.
with the whole,
And
oh, she was pointing at a lamppost, but no, she wasn't, because actually she didn't point, and it
it doesn't make
changed.
sense. It feels shoddy. We'll
There
go
wasn't
into
even a lamppost in the Church of Ruby Road. There wasn't one there, let alone a sign.
yeah.
That's just
Anyway,
no.
do you know what makes me happy?
What makes you that is over?
Shooty's costume comes back as
Yes, it does.
definitive one, which I'm glad to see it being cemented as the definitive costume for
He's
Shooty.
slacking a bit though. He's worn that one before. What's he thinking?
It's
Crazy guy.
crazy when you
Crazy
it takes
guy.
you off guard. He's like, "Oh, damn, it's the costume he's worn before."
I didn't throw this out, but I've already worn it twice. Like, I know. What is he thinking?
He's not wearing that exact variant of it, but in the Christmas special, he's got it with a yellow shirt on, as can be seen in the brief clips from, like, Unleash Noah.
Oh. Has he not
We were
worn it with that t-shirt before?
the yellow one,
I what?
I
No,
think we're
what?
confused. That
I'm
as he
very
wears it in this
confused.
as he wears it in this episode, it's exactly the same as he wears it in the Church and Ruby Road.
Yes. Yes, it is. What? Yeah.
It is. In the next Christmas special, the one that's
Oh,
coming during the
the next one.
he's
Yes.
wearing it with a different shirt, but he's wearing the
Ah,
same jacket and that sort of get-up again.
interesting.
I think that we can say that it's his definitive silhouette. Like, when
It's
they
his
have, like,
coat.
a lineup of doctors,
That is his
that's
coat.
the costume that he'll be in, maybe with a different shirt, but that coat, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't mind it.
I think it's the
Overall,
best of his costumes, honestly.
I I'm inclined to agree with
I
you.
did like the kilt. I have to say, I really like that look with the kilt.
Cultural appropriation.
He's Scottish, isn't he?
I suppose he is. Is the Doctor Scottish though? No.
Well, okay, you could argue that. Can I just say about cultural appropriation as well? Um,
Yeah.
you know, I'm a very, very woke person. You know this to be true.
Incredibly
I
woke.
I pride
Most
myself on being
white
woke.
person I've ever come across.
Oh, really?
Never feel
That's why I'm in so many fights, honestly. But I didn't get this episode when they were watching the Pyramids of Mars in the
I yes,
TARDIS. Her
because
being like, "What's with all the Egyptian stuff?" and him being like, "Culture appropriation." And I just thought, well, it's a character, so not really. But also, like, it's still culture appropriation what he looks like now. So why are we talking about it?
well, isn't the idea that or not the idea, sorry, the definition of cultural appropriation is when someone takes elements of cultures
Yes,
and like, I'm having this for
that don't
myself.
belong to them. Yeah,
The whole premise of Sutekh is
he just looked like
that
that.
the gods that inspire that like the
Yeah,
Egyptian mythology is based off him.
yeah.
Like they landed in Egypt and the
That's
Egyptian
like, as
guys
soon as he said that, I was like, it's not though. And it's fiction. So it's like you don't have to like, yeah, some things definitely like toy maker putting on an accent and stuff. I thought that was
Mhm,
handled very well. But with
mhm,
this particular thing, it's like, no, that is his character, is that's what he looked like, and that's why he was mistaken for
yeah,
a god. So like, it doesn't work
and
without the
I
quote unquote cultural appropriation. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, and I mean, I agree that you're probably more woke than me by a good bit, but
Thank you.
I totally get it when you wanna be, like, sensitive about these things,
Yeah.
but from what I understand, the whole stuff about Egyptian gods is very, very old.
Mm.
And don't think they have it as set into Egyptian culture of today as they did 3,000
No.
years ago.
Well, and I just think like it's like that is his character. That is
Mm,
the story. So like I'm not sure it's not, and it's like you said, it's not like he visited Earth and then went, "Oh, I like this. Like I'm gonna do that.
yeah,
I'm gonna take all these images and stuff, and that's what I'm gonna make my character." Like that just was it.
and
And it was sort of built around him.
the idea of aliens coming to Earth and then accidentally inspiring mythology and stories,
Yeah. Which I think is a
is
really
very
good
ingrained
story.
it's very ingrained into Doctor Who overall.
Yeah.
So I don't
So
yeah,
I just didn't think it was necessary, honestly. I just thought
yeah.
it was unnecessary. It was not
It was a very
particularly.
Moffat thing for him to do, to make a little quip, like, it just to throw something under the bus for the sake of a quip. It's a
Mm,
very Moffat thing to do. Uh, anyway, we've talked about that enough because we're supposed to be talking about the final scene of this
that's
story.
true. That is true.
Ruby departs.
Yes.
Not a lot of strong feelings there because it's happened in basically every single Russell T Davies finale
Well, and it is
except
literally like you watch it and you just see bits that are like they're just cherry picked. Like I saw bits of like Martha leaving in there where she's like, "I've got to go. I don't want to, but like I've kind of got to." I saw bits of Rose where she turned back and said, "I love you." Like
yeah, you're right.
there's so many bits that I'm like, "Oh, you've been watching
Interestingly
Russell T Davis one."
interestingly,
Do you know what I
uh,
mean?
you might know this already,
Mm.
there's another thing cut out because the Doctor says, "I love you too."
Oh, does he?
They cut it, and they cut it because well, I don't know if it was at his request, but Ncuti very much approved of the cutting of the line.
Right.
Uh, I think maybe because the Doctor has a proper sob afterwards as well,
Yeah.
which makes me think, God, he must have really not cared much about Martha and Rose and stuff. I didn't give a shit then if he's
Off you
crying about
go.
Ruby now.
Bye.
I mean,
Well,
I
he
think he
had a
had a
little cry after Rose, didn't he? A little bit of a cry.
a little bit, and then Amy, he had a that
Oh God, don't remind me.
that was my
That
Wookiee
was very
impression.
good, actually. Oh
Yeah,
dear.
and then the 12th Doctor just gets pissed whenever one of his companions leaves. He's just fucking
Yeah.
pissed off. So I want to bring back the pissed off doctor. The
Well,
brownie.
apart from like Bill, when Bill first left and he was just like, "Oh, I've got to regenerate. I can't think about her." Like, didn't like know like where is she? Where is Cyber
For
Bill?
her
Just like, oh,
like
by the way, I'm regenerating.
the glass when she's the glass thing, and he's like, "Here,
Yeah.
pop."
Oh, that. Yeah,
You know,
definitely. But when he just wakes up and he's like, "Oh, where is she?" Oh, no one cares. Like, okay, get on with it.
he has got other things on his
He
more
has
immediate
got other
things on
things.
his mind. I can't blame him too much.
No.
You know, when he's about to
But
incinerate.
I always thought that moment was just a bit odd, where it's like, "Oh, she doesn't exist." Okay, great.
You love that story though, so
I do love that story.
maybe that's one we could do to like cheer you up because
I'm
you've
gonna
been.
need a lot of cheering up, I'm not gonna lie.
I'll
I
put that
almost quit
back
watching after this.
burner. Almost. We've got a couple little more points. Number one, this is
Mm.
something that I didn't notice in the first watch, but I
Oh,
noticed on the rewatch, and I'm like, "Huh, that is weird." Is
yes.
Ruby's biological mother
Yes.
that has no reaction to this random police box appearing and disappearing in Jerry's flat. Like when they go and watch
Well
artist dematerialize, she's like, "Oh, nice."
Well, I think she's seen it before because in when they were in the TARDIS and Ruby was saying goodbye, she was like, "Oh, I told my mum she knows everything. She knows all about you. She knows everything that happens." Like because she's being like, "Oh, we've
Ah,
got to go and find my dad," and then she's
that
like, "But like,
that's
I might stay because my mum's fine with it. She knows about everything." So
that's fair.
yeah,
I just
but it's
missed that.
still
That's
very
fair.
clumsily
Like,
done. Because
clumsily
it's
done.
like I
Uh,
sometimes I watch these things, this series, and I see things and I'm like, you could actually make a story out of that.
Also, Cherry wasn't angry enough in the
No.
story. I like the interaction she has with Mrs. Flood. And there's that bit where Mrs.
Yes.
Flood's like, "Do you believe in God or something?" And
I
Cherry's like, "Of
love
course
that
I
bit. We
do."
forgot to mention that bit.
Well, I've got a note on Mrs. Flood at the end,
Right.
so we'll talk about her. That like it's all interesting, and I think the scenes with her, it's kind of crazy because it's a bit like if Michelle Gomez started popping up in series 7 and being like, "Oh, you don't know who I am," you know, because is a mystery
Well,
character, and we're getting hints and stuff, and we're not going to know anything more about Mrs. Flood until just under a year probably now. You
when
know,
do we know when we find out what's going on then?
well, we know that she's in the next series of Doctor Who.
Right.
I don't think she's going to be in the Christmas special because I think it's set during the Second World War, the Christmas special.
Oh, is
Uh,
it?
in fact, we'll
Oh,
have like
not
little.
another one. No, sorry, Moffat. Not another one.
I think I'm not
We've
confirming
done
that.
wars. We've done wars at
I
Christmas. We've done
and
it
I
a
think
lot.
I'm not
Dads being
sure.
lost
It
in
might be set
in the
during
sky in their
another
planes and
historical
not coming
event.
home.
It might be set during another historical period.
Ugh, I'm not
I
sorry, I'm not Stephen. I'm not doing
Stephen,
another war at
Stephen.
Christmas. I'm not doing it. I'm not
These
doing it.
Christmases are perfect for wartime
It's
stories.
perfect for war. Oh, I'm not doing it.
Time for war. Everyone else
Oh
is all happy and
God.
jolly at Christmas
Oh
time, and
God.
I'm up standing at a window being like,
Time to remind people of misery.
"That's a perfect time to remind people about the rise of
People
the
are too
night."
happy at Christmas. They're too happy. Oh God. Oh, I don't
I
have the
think
strength.
I don't think it's to do with the war. I think it's near that. I mean, it could be early 50s, early
Oh
30s,
God.
late 40s, just around that time, I think. And yeah, I don't think we're going to get anything to do with either Ruby Sunday or Mrs. Flood in the Christmas special. I think it's
No.
just Shuki and Nicola Coughlan.
Which I'm so looking forward to.
That should be great. We know that.
I love her so much. So, so much. I want her to be a full-time companion at some point.
It's too busy filming Bridgerton. I know.
Well, but she could do a Donna and just come in for Christmas and then come back for a few series and then come back like 20 years later and be
I
like,
suppose.
oh,
I
gee,
suppose. Never know.
yeah, I would like
Anyway,
her.
the Mrs. Flood stuff is interesting, and her appearing at a
Mhm.
rooftop at the end
Yes.
with an umbrella.
Yes.
Do you not? you of all people, do you not get
Mm,
Missy vibes from
I
that little bit
do,
there?
but a lot of people have also pointed out that she is in her Romana 1 cosplay. So,
I don't think that. Sorry, I don't think that's too much. Like that's
mm,
necessarily. I wrote like I don't think that's an intentional connection because it's snowing and it is cold and fur does warm you up.
yeah. Oh, sorry. No, 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 no. Let me get my hooded fur coat that's very, very dramatic. I'm just popping down the shops.
Very dramatic, exactly. A very Missy thing.
No, she did not. Yeah, no, but sorry. You're saying it like, oh, it's very cold. Like, she's not wearing that to like wrap up. That is a statement. She's not just being like, oh, what coat shall I wear? Because it's very nippy. Oh, well, I'll wear my warmest coat, which is, of course, this overly dramatic cape like coat. No, no.
Okay, okay.
I did get Missy vibes. I kind of hope it isn't her because A, she needs a rest, and also I'm still grieving. So,
She needs a longer nap than that.
yeah, definitely. We had a
Well, for
lot of
me,
Master.
there's two reasons why I would like if she is Missy, I'll be like, "Oh, okay." I won't be like super
Yeah.
pissed, but I
No, I
prefer if
won't be
she was
pissed, but
number
it's a
one.
lot.
We have had a lot of Master, and
We've
the
had a
character
lot of
does
Master, a
need
lot.
a bit of a rest. Number two is, I guess at some point we will have to have a new Missy,
Yeah.
like female Master. Though Michelle Gomez does feel like the definitive Missy,
I
and
want her to come
is
back.
it's quite big boots for another actor to
Look, if
fill.
David Tennant can do it, Michelle Gomez can do it.
Well, John Sim came back after
Well,
an
oh,
assassin,
precisely.
so you can't rule it out at all.
Yeah.
But on that sort of subject, another reason why I don't necessarily want her to be Missy is because I would like Dewan to be around for a while yet and do sort of like an Anthony Ainley and pop up for different doctors.
Mm.
I don't want a new master every time there's a new doctor. I like the idea of the
No,
master
I don't.
covering multiple doctors.
Well, and also I don't understand why we can't have a bit more of a John Sim situation where they don't always meet in the right order.
If I was showrunner for
Mm.
Doctor Who, if there was a master story coming up, I would be thinking which master. Like I wouldn't be going
Yeah.
right. It needs to be the current one.
Yeah.
I would think which one suits the story best.
Yeah.
Like Big Finish kind of think of it in that way. Like when they do a master story now, they have a pick of the litter and they will just yoink Alex McQueen or Derek Jacobi
Well,
or Jeffrey Beavers or Michelle Gomez. You
and
know,
I
they
think Eric
do.
Jacobi, I think he would have been brilliant. We should have
Oh
him
God,
more.
yes.
He would have been the
Well,
bet. He would have been
we are
better than even
probably
Michelle Gomez, I
we
think.
will we will probably end up digging into Big Finish during the
Probably.
Adric cast, and should we do so, I think some Derek Jacobi stuff
I've heard good
because
things.
he's insane. He is insane. Like obviously his character's insane. He's the master, but like he's insanely good.
Yeah.
And yeah,
He
his voice, like for audio, having an actor with such a good voice, like
mm.
Eric Jacobi as well, really sells it. Like you can have him in your ear. You're like, oh, nice bit of Derek Jacobi being softly evil. Now
Well,
the I'm
I'm
going to kill you.
I
That was terrible. That was
very
the
good.
worst impression.
No, very
That
that was very good. No,
that
it was
sounded
great.
nothing like Derek Jacobi. Derek Jacobi is
Yeah. It
Northerner.
was like
He
he was in the room. It was brilliant.
Well, how do you know he's not been in the room, just sitting
Mm.
quietly the whole time
In his fur coat.
in his big white fur coat? Well, Dirk Jacobi is a very fabulous man
He
with a
is.
beautiful fashion
I
sense.
really hope she isn't,
Yeah,
though.
we've established we hope she isn't, though it's possible now with that final scene. It just gave me very heavy Missy vibes.
Well, and I hope, yeah, it did. I think it did for everyone, but I hope that she is a new character, to be honest.
I still think she's a Time Lord of some
I think
description.
she is, but can she be a new one? Are there
She
new
could
ones?
I think she could be. Two things I feel fairly certain about is one, she's Time Lord, and two,
Yeah.
she is not a goodie. by
No,
any
no,
stretch
no,
of the
no.
imagination. Even though she's been reasonably friendly to Ruby,
Oh,
we
she's
see
plotting.
things.
She is
She's
plotting.
plotting evil things. She literally
Yeah.
says at the end of the series, "Well, the Doctor is fucked because I've got an evil plan to take care of him once and for all."
I really don't like the breaking the fourth wall, looking to the camera. I don't
I
enjoy it.
I agree. The only time I found it to be really effective is when she said she did that thing in the end of the last episode when Sutek's coming and she's like, "He waits no
Oh,
more." 'Cause
because I
it's
think that was
really
quite
creepy.
subtle. She
Well, it was
wasn't
subtle
talking
and it
to
was
us.
scary
Yeah.
as well, like the piercing gaze of Anita Dobson. I'm like, fair enough. All right.
Yeah. No,
So I
I
like that.
did enjoy that, but generally I don't like it.
In the first one, she's not talking directly to the camera as well. Well, she's facing the camera, but
Well,
she's like never seen a TARDIS before. She's talking to the guy next to her, saying that.
I'd say I
So
don't. I think it's a bit half and half in that bit.
it's a bit of
It's a bit of
Kingsmill,
both.
bit of Kingsmill 50/50.
Yeah,
All right.
I'd say so.
Okay. Okay.
I'm also very interested to know what her real name is because
Romana
of
from No.
what?
I'm trying to think of a daft Time Lord name with flood in it. Like you have Romana Viratalunda, you have like Fladuna Mafuda Maduva.
Nice,
Fladuna Mafuda Maduva.
nice. That'll be it. No, just watch
No.
Russell hearing that. I
You
don't
think
know.
he's
I
just planted a
really,
bug in my room? Just
huh?
planted a bug in my room and he's just listening. With a pen and paper. Well, that's a
He could
cracker there.
be. He
That's
could
a cracker
be.
there, Phil. I'm writing that down. I'm writing that down, Phil.
Oh God, can you? No, it probably will pop up now. I've
What?
lost all faith. I've lost
What will
faith.
pop up?
Huh?
What will pop up?
That name.
Ah, that name.
Something.
Anyway,
It will be something ridiculous.
if
I've
I'm
lost
honest,
faith.
he hasn't put a bug in my room. I
Well,
know
how would you
this
know?
because for the entire episode he's been pointing a gun at my head. That's why I've been
Oh,
defending
there
him
we
by
go.
a second.
Yeah.
So
No, it makes sense. Does make sense. I wondered why you're being so nice about his bullshit
he
story.
hasn't said anything. He's just got a sign he's holding up saying 10 out of
Nice.
10. And he
Nice.
points it a lot. I don't
Sorry,
know if he's saying
Gregor, but it looks like your time's up then because that's not what we're giving it.
I am in agreement that we will not be giving it a 10 out of
Good.
10. Uh,
Thank
on the
God.
subject, I think we should probably put you out of your misery,
Yeah,
Russell.
please.
Before we go.
Honestly.
No. We'll give this,
Well,
well, we'll give this story a ranking. The Legend of Ruby Sunday / Empire of Death, the series, season
God.
1 / series 14 / season 40 finale.
Slash the last series I'm watching.
Ah, fuck off, Janey. You know fine and well that you'll be watching the next series of Doctor.
Well, I won't enjoy it.
You
I've
will
already
enjoy it.
decided.
You
I've
will
already
enjoy it
decided I'm not going to enjoy
because
it.
Russell's just whipped out another sign that says you will enjoy it!
I will
Exclamation mark.
not. You can't tell me what. You might be able to fool
What if
everyone else, but you ain't fooling me.
what if they bring Michelle Gomez back as Missy?
Oh, okay, I'm there.
There we are.
I'm there.
Now we know the conditions that need to be met.
Yeah.
Anyway, I know you're not very fond of this story.
Look, don't
I
pussyfoot around it.
I'm
Don't
don't
try and be nice.
I don't think it's a 1 out of 10. I'm not throwing it in the freighter.
I believe it's a 1 out of 10. Wait, right. This episode, I believe, is a 1 out of 10. Last episode, I thought was really, really good. So,
Bearing in
how do we
mind,
find a middle ground?
well, this is both episodes because they are one story, and that's how we
Yeah.
rank the Carters. That is official. The reason I say it's not a 1 out of 10 is because there are scenes I liked in it. There are performances I enjoyed.
Mm,
Uh, and even though the plot is very haphazard,
awful.
and there are things that
Abysmal.
very much
Dreadful.
there's a lot of gripes.
Hmm.
It's not. I have found myself enjoying other series finales less, and I'm not specifically talking about the Timeless Children when I say that.
No,
There
I
are
hope not, because it
finales
was leaps and bounds ahead of this
that
one.
are.
Chibnall, all is forgiven.
Mm,
Come back.
I'm actually not sure which one of those two is better, but in my personal opinion, but there is at least one or two other series finales that I put below Empire of Death quite firmly.
Mm.
So with that in mind, I can't give it a 1 out of 10 when I know there's stories worse than it. When I know there's stories in that category that are
What
worse than
can you give it?
it. I want to give it a or I felt it was very average ultimately. I would be okay with a 5, but I know you really aren't a fan. I am willing to push it down to a 4 out of 10.
This is for both episodes, yes.
This is for both episodes.
I will say a 4 out of 10 on the condition that on my side of scoring, I believe that last episode carried this episode beyond immeasurably. I think without last week, it would have been a 1, personally. Sorry.
Fine, fine. But I think we've come to a unanimous agreement of 4 out of 10.
Yeah, 4.
No,
Shame on
actually,
you, Russell. Shame on
on
you.
the subject of scores as well, there is another thing we have to do, and that's go over our sort of little retrospective of the
Oh,
series.
yes.
So
Mm.
our rankings as they stand are 7 out of 10 for Space Babies, 7 out of 10 again for The Devil's Cord,
Yeah.
8 out of 10 for Boom,
Mm-hmm.
4 out of 10 for 73 Yards,
We were very
8
back.
8 out of 10 for Dot and Bubble, 9 out of 10 for Rogue, and then 4 out of 10 for Legend of Ruby Sunday / Empire of Death. Now, you've kind of already answered this question, but is there a couple of scores you'd like to alter at this
73
time?
yards was not as bad as what we have just witnessed.
My biggest gripe with 73 Yards was the mismatching vibes. We went from creepy folk horror to political um, espionage thriller.
Yeah. Which is
Both
nothing
sides
on
are
the
written well.
downright lies of this episode. We thought we were going to get something really good and we got something really bad. So
Janey, I'm trying to talk nice about 73 Yards. Don't bring Empire of Death into
I can't look, I can't do this anymore.
I think Russell wrote both sides of 73 Yards quite well, even if they didn't mismatch, even if they mismatch, sorry. Uh, so I think we should bump it up to a 6 out of 10.
Oh, Jesus.
Also, I might be willing to reconsider it again
Um,
when it gets released on book. When it gets released as a book, if more gets explained, if the story makes more sense from that.
okay.
Oh, but
Okay,
I'm
well,
willing
we'll
to give
say a
it.
6. I agree
We'll
with a
give it
6.
Are you happy with Space Babies being a 7 out of 10 still?
Are you thinking higher or lower?
I'm thinking lower.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
I don't think it was lower. I think it was not the best episode, but it was definitely watchable.
I would be willing to push it down to a 6 out of 10 as well.
No, I think it made sense, and I think that's all we can hope for nowadays, is that it
Coherent
makes
story, but
sense.
but on the Bulky Monster thing has still somehow managed to be on my mind and made me feel a bit poorly even now.
Nice.
And I think the babies were maybe just a little bit too over the top than they could have been. I would be
This is a
I
difficult one for me.
want to knock it down one peg to 6 out of 10. I think Devil's Cord was better, so having it on an equal playing field with that doesn't seem right
If
to
I
me.
let you knock it down one peg, will you let me put Rogue in and give it a star?
Oh, nah, sorry. I've I've
Why?
I've justified why
It was very,
I
very
should avoid
good.
giving things 10 out of 10. It was very, very good, but I've
It was
justified
very,
why
very good.
I'm a
I think we
stickler
can
for giving
agree.
things 10 out of 10.
Well, our scores tell us the story. It's the best episode of the series.
And it still is at a 9 out of 10. There's nothing else that's up there.
I'm not budging at all, are you?
No. No, and I mean, a 10 out of 10 for me is one where I will just gush about it, and I will just say, "I love this, I 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 love this," so much that I forget about any criticisms of the story. With Rogue, it was very,
Hmm.
very good, but there were a couple of things in there which I was a
Okay.
bit iffy about, like
I'm
the
happy
message
to go
style.
down to a 6 on Space Babies.
Very well. Um, I think that's us settled on our final scores, Janey.
Hmm.
Space Baby 6 out of 10, Devil scored 7, Boom 8, 73 yards 6, uh, Dot and Bubble 8, 9 for Rogue, 4 for the finale, meaning that
Yep.
there's only one story in this season that is below 5 out of 10, that being the finale.
Hmm. What a
Everything
shame.
else is in the top half. Uh, yeah. A couple of them being very low in the top half, but
Yeah.
I
No,
think
I think
overall, as a whole, this series has been okay. The
I
finale,
don't.
you don't. The
It's fine.
It's fine. You don't think this was a successful launch
I
for Disney
don't. No,
Plus?
I don't. I feel very underwhelmed, disappointed. I'm not
I think
angry, I'm just
it
disappointed.
could have been better, I suppose.
A lot.
I'm not looking back at this and being like, "That was perfect Doctor Who." There was a couple episodes I did really like Rogue and Boom and Dot and Bubble,
Hmm.
but there was, like, I don't think you can really afford to have a lot of average Doctor Who in such an important series. Like, the finale was a bit naff,
Very.
we were disappointed with it, but if it was just the finale being like that, I wouldn't have so much of an issue. But
Mm,
like the thing with the 6 out of 10s is not terrible, but I think
it's
we
not great.
did need more, especially like Church and Ruby Road as well, which we haven't reviewed. I feel very average about that story.
Oh,
Or,
very average.
it's not terrible again, but it's not when people who haven't seen Doctor Who before put that on, are they gonna be wowed and be like, "This show, man, this fucking show, oh my gosh, I am obsessed with this now." In the same way
Hmm.
that they were when Rose debuted, or I suppose the 11th Hour brought its fans in and stuff, you
Mm,
know?
yeah.
It did. Even I know you're not keen on Matt Smith's era, but in America, it went crazy around that time, and a lot of people jumped on there. Uh, so compared to those 2 launches, I don't think it did too well.
No, I'm just very overall just very underwhelmed. That's all.
I think we're comparing it to Jodie Whittaker's first series, which a lot of people have been doing. Uh, there again with Jodie Whittaker's series, there's actually individual stories I really like in that
Hmm.
particular, and I think her opening story, "The Woman Who Fell to Earth," is better than Church and Ruby Road.
Oh, definitely.
There
Yeah.
are a couple of things that really drag that series down for me, like overall the lack of arc, like character arc or story arc or
Mm.
things like that. I don't know. I can't be arsed to compare the two. I'd say this is the third weakest of the four introductory series we've had in Doctor Who. Well,
Right.
showrunner introductory series.
Do you think that Jodie's was worse than this one?
I do, unfortunately. I'm not going to be one of those people who bashes the Chibnall era all the time. Because even though I wasn't enjoying it at the time, I had the sensibility to be like, well, other people enjoying it, and I will let them enjoy it because I'm not a
Yeah, it
miserable.
wasn't a great one, but I
I,
also wasn't expecting as much as I did this time, which I think is
yeah,
a
I did have
shame.
high expectations for the Jodie one, which maybe had more of an effect.
Mm.
I was like, especially with like the whole arc thing, when they said there wasn't a series arc, I thought, well, the characters are going to go through a really deep journey then, and they didn't at all. Barely any of them got anything really, and the whole like there was very little motivation to go through that series. and
Yeah.
much like this, the finale was very underwhelming there. In fact,
Yeah, that's true.
that is a finale that I put below Empire of Death because
Mm,
even though it didn't have a lot of plot holes like Empire of Death does, I never felt any entertainment value off of that finale at all. It felt like a lot of just people talking to each other and very little actually going on screen, whilst here there was at least some nice set pieces. Uh,
mm,
and the guest actors, I suppose it helps with it being a two-parter and them getting stuff in the first part, but the guest actors didn't feel wasted in the way that Mark Addy was in the Battle of
mm. Whatever
Random
it
Alcohol.
was.
The Battle of Random Alcohol Loss. That's
Good.
what yeah, anyway, we're not gonna spend our time bashing the Battle of Random Alcohol Loss. Just in general, I think
No,
this
we're
is
only here to bash this series, so
the third this one comes number 3 out of the introductory the relaunch Doctor Who series is, I guess,
mm, yeah.
of which we've had 4. So yeah. Anyway, I think we've been talking for almost 2 hours
Been talking a
on
lot.
this, a little bit later than normal because busy boy, lots to do. And we haven't actually finished yet because we need to talk about the future of Adric Cast.
Mm.
And we haven't actually talked about predictions for the future of Doctor Who either.
I
Um,
have none.
what we want to
Whatever
see
predictions I have, they're wrong.
before we talk about the future of our podcast for Doctor Who, maybe not predictions, but ambitions. I
I
want
want it to get better, please.
Okay. Well, for me, how I think they can go about making it better, and unfortunately, I don't think this is going to happen in the next series, judging by filming, though I could be incorrect. I want them to go back to some old reliables for the next series
Yeah.
because we've had a lot of the fantasy stuff. I'm
Hmm.
not opposed to the fantasy thing, but Russell has used it a lot to just cover plot holes. Like this thing happened because fantasy, because reality isn't quite right, so the Doctor can just randomly do
It's
this and
very
do
lazy, and it's
that. It
not
feels,
been used that well.
and it
I
hasn't
don't
been used
think.
very well. Like overall, I don't mind when there's a flying, sailing ship in the sky run by goblins, or the toy maker can turn people into bowling balls, or the maestro can come out of pianos.
Yeah.
But I think one thing that's really really key to Doctor Who is the science fiction, like the science part of that, and the Doctor having a scientific explanation, sometimes a more fantastical one. But
Mm.
we can see something crazy happen, and the Doctor's like, "Well, that happened because of this, this, and this," and that's a big key part of the show. Sometimes it can go for that full fantasy because it has done for many years, and it's not totally out
Yeah.
of doing that. But I want to see more of that sci-fi element coming back into it
Yeah.
because a lot of people are being introduced to the show for the first time as well, and it's a key part of the show. So I think it's fair
Yes.
to have that. Like we had a little bit of it with Boom and Dot and Bubble, but that was it really, and that's not
Yeah.
enough for a whole series to have just a
It's
couple of
not
episodes
enough.
like that. And then for the 60th, they had the Star Beast as well, but he's not enough to just do that.
No.
I think we should. I want Daleks.
I want
No,
Daleks.
I
Yeah.
want them because I know that they got heavily used in the Chibnall, like late Chibnall era and Moffat era and all that stuff. By the time we do get to the next series, it will be about 3 years since they last had an outing on screen.
Well, and
So
they were used heavily, but the last time we saw them, I need something to take that taste out of my mouth because that was so badly done. They didn't need to be there at all. I
I get,
yeah, they were
I
really
get. Talk about that
misused.
story. We can talk about that story in more detail another time.
No, I
Uh,
don't want to. I was just saying. I don't
then
actually want to talk about it.
we can just leave.
Yeah, please.
Talk about
Don't
I
take that
want
as an
to see.
invitation to talk about it.
I feel I also I know you've totally lost confidence in Russell.
Yeah.
I think he can write Daleks, and I don't think they're particularly hard to write. It's like a
No.
common sense thing. This
Yeah.
is what Daleks do. I think he gets it. So I think if they did the Daleks next season, I would be quite okay with it.
Yeah.
Even if they're not like, even if they're just there in the middle of the series or something.
Mhm.
I suppose they might be. We don't know.
We don't
We
know, but
haven't
I don't
seen it.
think.
We haven't sniffed any Dalek in the air.
No, I get the feeling that they won't be.
You get the feeling that they won't
I get the
be.
feeling.
I hope so, because we also don't know what's happening with the show past the next series
No, I
yet.
didn't know what happened at all this week. I couldn't get any of it.
Well, the two series got commissioned together, uh, so I'm hoping that closer to the next series, is when they'll commission
Mm.
another one, or
It's
they'll
not a
commission
good
another.
look when you're waiting for that.
I am hoping that at least on the Disney Plus side, it was well enough received. I mean, they've had worse shit than any of what's
Yeah.
come out of the series. They've had worse shit on that platform, so I'm not feeling apocalyptic. I'm not like Doctor Who is dead. This is the
No.
end, guys. Because if
We'll
we did
see.
that every time there was an episode we didn't like, then we would be saying that a lot.
Every other week.
You
Every
know, and
week this series.
every,
Sorry, every week.
not everybody.
Not every. We had 2 weeks off. That was nice.
But I I do feel like we'll hopefully get some more.
Mm,
And plus with the viewing figures and things, it looks pretty normal, not incredible boost, but
yeah.
it's been in some top tens and stuff.
Yeah.
And you don't think that they want to patch a show that's that high up. You know, we can get rid of Doctor Who and then use that slot for another police drama. You know.
I'd take it at this point.
Anyway, that's the future. I want Daleks back and Cybermen
Yeah.
back.
Bring them back.
For the next one, bringing them back. I think we need them.
Yeah.
I think we
I
need
agree.
some
I do agree.
reliables, and Shooty deserves his Dalek story.
Yeah.
Uh, anyway, the future of the Adric cast,
Mm,
as has been discussed, will definitely have Daleks in the future
definitely.
because we want to review The Chase next, in
Yes.
memory of William Russell.
Hmm.
Uh, not going to be out for a while.
No, we're taking a little break.
We are taking a little break. Uh, yes. And when we do come back, it will be a fortnightly podcast rather than a weekly
Hmm.
one because I'm not happy with the shorter series, but you know what? With the Adric cast going on, I don't mind it so much.
We
It's,
need a break.
we need a
We've been doing
break.
this for 2 months now.
The Adric cast will return. It will return with the chase, and there'll be other less reviewy episodes of the podcast with interesting discussions.
Hmm.
And I would like to get some guests on. There are some people who've mentioned it.
Hmm.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
But the future of Adric cast is more certain than the future of Doctor Who right now. That is an interesting
That is
place to
so
be.
true.
That is an interesting place to be.
That's so true.
Anyway, we're gonna sign off now.
Yeah.
We'll see you soon. Fucking support the podcast, like all the things,
Hmm.
keep us going, and we'll be back with the chase.
We will.
Ta-ra.
Bye. 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 Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.